What's up, fellas? How are we doing today? Good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. I think it's approaching the final 24 hours of the Team Mr. Shiny War. The final 24 hours will start at 1 p.m. today. The event will end tomorrow at around 1 p.m. I'm now switching out my eggs so I can head back over to Cryogonal Jail. We are just mostly sticking at Cryogonal spot today. Nothing super exciting or interesting. I mean, I'm sure, knowing a PokeMMO day, knowing a stream recap, and knowing the community, something super exciting or something super rare or crazy will happen, most likely. Just too many people doing too many crazy shunts right now. But I'm going to head back over to Cryogonal. I don't have anything super exciting planned today, to be totally honest with you guys. I always like to be upfront about that. I'm really just heading back to Cryogonal Jail, and we're going to stay slow and consistent. Slow and consistent, and it's a marathon, not a sprint, and long-term progress will always be out. Short-term, intense progress. There's still, 40 days left in official Shiny Wars. It's still a long way left. Mr. Shiny War may be ending in around 24 hours or so, but we've got a long way to go with official wars, and that's the one I'm prioritizing pretty aggressively. And I broke the dry streak, guys. The wet streak can now begin. So we're only at 6,500 encounters or so. I'm excited to hopefully get lucky this hunt and see if we can get a wet streak going. What's the score? What a great question that I totally forgot to answer. The score right now for Team Mr. Shiny Wars is 108 to 114. And I think Pikachu is behind, which is the team that we're 6 points behind. That's the team that I'm on. So I'm going to try to hatch as many eggs as possible during the Mr. War, because those are worth way more points, or a lot of points during the Mr. War. Not way more points, but the Cryogonals aren't worth much during Mr. War, but worth a ton for official wars, and eggs are great for both, you know? Imagine if raids happen during Halloween and we get Halloween alphas like Gengar, Chandelure, Drifbloom, Spiritomb, Dusclops, etc. become raid bosses. I actually wanted to talk about this today because this was brought up by Superworld, who's a moderator of mine on my Discord, and it was such a this guy I like such a good point brought up by him. He essentially was like, hey, I misunderstood. He was basically like, hey, I feel like they're going to release raids during, an event or whatever. And I was like, no, I don't really think so, because I think that, they beta tested. They usually beta test things during events like they did during the Lunar New Year event. They just beta tested raids, right? But I kind of doubt they would permanently release it during. He was like, no, that's not what I mean. He's like, I mean themed ones during the events, because and that he gave the same arguments. It was like totally a position I would come to. It was such a good take. He was basically like, historically, they've done themed swarms for Halloween. They've done themed alpha spawns. It makes sense that with the physical raid dens in the game, right, that they would go ahead and do a themed raid, which I think is super interesting. So it's very possible we see raids released before Halloween. We have some sort of random spawn rotation of normal raids. We get a taste of that. Halloween rolls over, and then we get Halloween themed raids. That's such a genius, such a genius way to reuse this permanent piece of content, similar to alpha swarm rotations, or we get one raid a day or something like that. I thought it was so interesting, the idea of getting these rotational raids or themed raids, and you can once raids are permanently implemented, you can truly always build upon them. You can truly always build upon raids and have themed ones for different events. If you want to do, you can incorporate raids into Halloween, Christmas, Lunar New Year event, or even the summer, or whatever things you want to do in the future. I don't know, Safari Week, anything you want to do, you really can mold raids around that theme. And I thought that was just it's so cool. It's so really great point, but really cool to see. So I'm really excited to see if we'll see raids used in that way. We have seen alphas and normal swarms used in that way, so I think it's very plausible. Raids gonna bring Johto alphas? It's possible. I assuming Johto starters. It's possible they use raids to introduce Johto alpha starters. I'd be way more on the side of I've been saying I thought that they were gonna add Johto alpha starters via the anniversary event, the same way they added Kanto alpha starters via the anniversary event, and it does seem like they want to continue doing the anniversary event yearly, based on Rachel's response the other day in my previous stream recaps. But it's just about time and energy, and actually them having the ability to implement those each summer. So we'll see. It's possible they want to go ahead and do Johto during a raid, and then they'll do they have 5 regions of alpha starters to introduce, so they could always do that in later anniversary events, versus all of them have to be in anniversary events, it's important to understand or note that everything right now is speculation. Like, everything right now is really just speculation. Don't take anything that I say on stream as a promise. I'm not a developer. I don't have any sort of inside information or connections. Like, I'm really just using the same tools that everybody else has. The forums, Rach's DMs are open on Discord, like things like that, right? So everything right now is just speculation. We really all just have to wait and see what happens. And there's one thing that people hate being told on the internet, and it's to wait. But we have to just be patient and wait. Let's go ahead and do our shiny hunts while we do that, right? Pat, why was the anniversary event your favorite event? Just curious. It's really everything was so... The best way I can describe it is everything was so exciting, but still balanced. And I feel like a lot of things that come into the game are like one or the other. It's either like really exciting but kind of unbalanced, kind of like the shiny boost during Christmas, right? Like, that's a pretty rough thing to balance, but like it's really exciting, and it does like hype up the players, and that positivity and excitement probably outweighs the nerd balance. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have to keep in mind, like, as a veteran player, like, I have like a different perspective. And that perspective isn't always right. It isn't always, you know, I try to remind myself and try to reattach to the new player experience. I really try. I feel like the excitement probably outweighed the nerd emoji. Well, that's not very balanced, you know? But I feel like the anniversary event was so good about everything it implemented was exciting but balanced. Like, alpha starters, the alpha Kanto starters, the boss fight itself was super interesting. The like rotations of what you used to, like, did you like beat up people, or you would do certain fights to like get the anniversary chests? I liked all the vanities. I liked all the particle effects. I really liked everything about the anniversary event. Also, like, as someone who's, it's probably subconscious bias as well, like, as someone who's been playing since 2013, the idea of an anniversary for a game that I've been playing for 10 years at all is amazing. Like, it's celebrating the game's history, it's celebrating the players who have been playing for so long. So I think all of it, like, just kind of attaches to my you know, brain and heart, and like, it's just very much what I look for in a historical PokeMMO event. I don't know, I thought it was really cool. I made millions a day during the anniversary event. The anniversary event was some of the best money I've ever seen. I always say, I think that I made 1.2 million Pokeyen in the first hour of the anniversary event. And I think I ended up making like 2 or 2.2 mil in the first 2 hours. Like, it was I would say the first hours, or the first 1 to 2 hours of any event, are so important. Like, like the first 1 to 2 hours of an event can make you like 10 hours worth of farming of Pokeyen later on, like 5 days into the event. Like, it's a ridiculous disparity of time to Pokeyen. So make sure you're playing in those first 2 hours and just sell everything. Like, don't hold stuff. If you play the first 2 hours of the event, as soon as you get sealed product, go list it, go sell it, because people will buy into the hype and buy it up, and you can take advantage of that and just make big sales really quick and make that quick Pokeyen. And it's so worth it, in my opinion. What's your favorite money-making method besides events? I've said this once, but I'll say it. I love this so much, honestly. I really like making mediocre competitive Pokemon. So what I mean by that is, usually I will just go to the GTL. I will look up like 25 attack and then like 20 plus in every other stat or something like this, right? And then search by lowest price and just like try to find some physical attacker. All of these are special attackers, so this wouldn't really work. But like, you could even, like, careful is whatever, but like, try to find some physical attacker with a usable nature as well. Not really seeing much. We're still pretty cheap though, obviously. Brave, you could do a Brave Watchhog, but who's going to buy a competitive Watchhog? Probably not anybody. You want to look for something cheap and like you could buy and just EV train up and sell. But also, like, honestly, this Shroomish for like 5k and Brave, I would buy this Shroomish, EV train it, 252 attack, 252 speed, level it to 50, and just sell it off. I'm a huge fan of, like, its Brave nature is like usable-ish. I really like making mediocre competitive Pokemon. These are not comps that like the end game players are gonna buy. These are not someone's like, oh, this is like the final Breloom comp I'll ever buy. Usually people who are buying these comps are either number one, like this naughty nature hop-up is honestly, Jump Puff's really underrated in my opinion. Players that buy these comps are either number one, new players who are trying to get into PvP, or even veteran players who are testing Amon's slot on a team and seeing if it actually works cohesively with the other Pokemon and if it actually has like the synergies they're looking for. So it is bought by new players and veteran players, like mediocre comps, which I think people kind of underestimate. But I love making mediocre comps. It's just so fun to like buy a Pokemon that is like not that good and then EV train it up and sell it off for like not that much, like 50 to 80k, usually what I sell them off for. I really enjoy it, honestly. Yo, 7,000 encounter, boys. There's it is. That was such bad words. It looks like yesterday an OG player came back to them and listed all their 2012s. Ooh, let's see. Let's check the market arena. Is it like the same OT? Vismir. Yup. Vismir. Whenever this happens, like, if you want to buy some up at base price, go ahead, you know, more power to you. But I think it's honestly better, in my opinion, to like go through and check. Go Charizard is a cool name. Wow. And Snee. I think it's cool to check like if any like interesting species. Like I think the biggest thing when it comes to 2012 pricings and listings are like what species get listed. I think that's like the most important thing to check. 2-31 is interesting. Cubone, Dino Queen, nothing super. What was that Umbreon listed for, to be fair? 3 mil. Oh my goodness. Whew. That is steep. Yeah, that is so funny. Someone in my chat, that is actually one of the... I've been playing this game for thousands and thousands of hours, and I never realized this. If your headphones... So it's like sound engineering stuff. If your headphones are labeled as right and left, right? Maybe obvious to a lot of you guys, right? PokeMMO has directional sound. So if you have your right headphone in, you'll be able to hear the audio of the enemy Pokemon landing, the Pokemon on the right. And then if you have your left headphone in, you'll hear like only your Pokemon landing. You won't hear like... So like, it's so weird. I don't know if it works for anything else, but at least in wild battles, if you have your left headphone in, you hear the Pokemon on the left. If you have your right, you hear the Pokemon on the right. That is so weird. I've never, ever noticed / like thought. I didn't know it worked like that. Because I never know which... I usually play with like one headphone in, so I don't usually know which headphone to have in to hear the shiny noise. And I think it's... Now that I think I know it's the right one now. That's so interesting. I've never realized that or thought about that, but someone X-Man pointed it out in my chat. That's so funny. Yeah, so how many shinies do I have? So we're like, what, day 19 or 18 in Shiny Wars? It's day 19 right now in Shiny Wars. I've been hunting around 8 hours a day. I wish I've been doing 10, but I've honestly been doing... The honest answer, I've been doing around 8 hours a day. Only 8 hours, I know, cringe. 8 hours a day, 19 days. I've gotten 1 shiny so far. So what's the math on that? Also, I prepped so many eggs ahead of time. Like, I think that's like a real... Like, I spent so much time prepping eggs. It was kind of crazy. So 8 times 19. Let's do 152 plus like probably an extra 50 hours minimum from the egg prep. I'm not gonna lie, that egg prep. Actually, no, maybe not. Hatching the eggs, yes, but maybe not the prep. Probably let's just say 150, 160. Yeah, 150 hours so far for 1 shiny. Honestly, not that bad. I really do. I don't know if it's just my copium naive optimism, but I actually don't feel like that's that bad. It could be so much worse. Like 300 hours for 1 shiny is tough. 150 hours for 1 shiny for like while specifically hunting, it's not that bad. It could be a lot worse in my opinion. Pat, what if Reggies were added as roaming legendaries, but it was added in secret? I mean, it's very possible the devs do something like that, honestly. Adding updates in secret is very much in their MMO, especially like that's what they did with like the original roaming legendaries. However, we're already 9 days into August, which means someone probably would have found it by now. Where would they be at? In, like the Hoenn region? You would go to, or yeah, Johto is the beast, then Kanto is, yeah, it'd be like Hoenn would be, and I feel like people have done enough single encountering on Hoenn. If they did add them this month, they would have been found already, in my opinion. But it's always possible in the future. At the beginning of each month, we probably should like just keep an eye out to see if maybe they add something like that in secret, any sort of roaming legendaries somewhere. That's what they did with the original roaming legendaries. They were added in secret. Here's an idea: make a Reggie only cave when they decide to add them. I'm honestly open to that. I kind of like the idea of like one specific spot that you go hunt the legendaries. That like isn't there that one cave, or is that in Sinnoh that I'm thinking of? Like one like, or is it in Hoenn, like the like Reggie like puzzle cave or whatever? I think it's legit interesting, and like yeah, because it's very MMO. The idea, but to be fair, we already have like very MMO spots. Like everybody comes here, for example, during Shiny Wars. Like we underestimate how impactful that is. I think it's one of the coolest things in PokeMMO is like seeing all of these end game players come to the similar spots because they know it's the best. And like, I don't know, seeing all these people on their different grinds, I feel like it's a really, really cool thing to see and like super underrated. But the idea of like seeing the whole server, there's such a fun aspect of like at the release of like a piece of content or like seeing everybody rush to that. Like one of the most beautiful things, incredible things in Pokemon history is experiencing any region together. Like when Johto came out, the most fun thing was just going through the region and seeing all of these new players, old players, veterans, noobs, etc., like all going through and enjoying Johto for the first time and developing strategies. There was so much to learn. New region releases are extremely fun, and I super do get it, but they have to come every few years. You can't just spam them out, you know. They have to be. There's so much content to still explore in Johto that I feel like we're underestimating how much there is to do. I hope we don't see Shiny Wars again for like 2 years. I want to plan my own team events and shunt without the pressure of really cool vanities / other people being busy with the 2-month grind. I get it. I think it returning annually is a good amount. I think annually is fair and reasonable. I think biannually would be way too much, but I think annually makes sense. I would love to see it shortened to 1 month. I think 2 months is honestly way too long. I think 1 month is plenty long to give people to take out enough of the RNG. I think 1 month is consistent enough. You know, I truly do. I think 1 month would have been fine. 2 months is pretty crazy. I'm surprised it ended up being 2 months, but we're still testing out things and learning things for Shiny Wars, so it makes sense. I think 1 month once a year would be fine. Even 2 months once a year is like, what's that percentage? Isn't that 1/6 of the year? Like, what's the math on that? Like, that's a pretty high percentage of the year being Shiny Wars, you know? That's pretty crazy, actually, right? That's like 15% of the year is Shiny Wars. Like, that's wild, right? That's nuts. Yeah, hopefully we see it annually for 1 month. I think that would be good. Something like that would be fine. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I think we'll definitely see even the best of the best and even the most of endgame players taking a year off. It would not surprise me if even the best of the best shunters start doing Shiny Wars like every other year or something like that. Or it depends on their goals, what they have doing in game. Like, you know, if they're mostly just shunter, maybe they do it every year, but it wouldn't surprise me if we start seeing high-end players take a year off, because there's so much to do in PokeMMO, man. There's so much to do. It's crazy. Oh, I definitely did just realize I actually am officially over 8,000 hours on my. That's kind of cool. I always say that I have over 8,000 hours played because of alt accounts and stuff, but 8K hours on the main account it's a cool number to see. But I'm basically saying, like, even I'm still. Someone in chat was saying they're new and they're feeling overwhelmed by the information, all the information to learn in the game, and I get it, dude. I can't imagine being a new player in this. It's probably so much, right? But really, just take it step by step and play it like a traditional Pokemon game for the first, you know, regions and storylines, etc., and just whenever you have questions, just try to Google things and just take it step by step and bit by bit, because you shouldn't feel pressured and don't feel pressured or worried to like learn everything all in one day or even learn everything all in 1 month or 1 year. Like, it just takes time. I'm still learning things every single day, like the sound and like battle tower, and there's so much interesting stuff that I don't know about and content that I haven't delved that deep into, and I'm at 8,000 hours. You know, this game is very, 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 very deep. There's so many. I played this game for 8,000 hours and I lost to Brock on an alt account like 2 months ago. Like, there's just so much to learn and so much to do. It's just overwhelming. So, but don't try to just understand it's good and it's okay to take it step by step, and each extra little piece of information is just a fun little treat. You know, it's not like a stressful thing that you have to do. Hey, new players in chat, Pat heavily recommends Dig Ocarina to you all. No, Dig Ocarina is probably like the least, it's like one of the few ocarinas I don't own, because it is actually like one of the least worth ocarinas. If you run the math, so Dig Ocarina costs around 500k, right? If you just have a couple escape ropes, I just keep some escape ropes on me. Escape ropes cost 750 Pokeyen, right? And you should try to I just keep a Dig Pokemon on me. Like, the Dig Ocarina should only be used if you forget to bring a Dig Pokemon to wherever you're at. Whatever you're doing inside of a cave, you should have extra party space to have a Dig Pokemon. Even in this situation where I literally only have room for 1 Pokemon while hatching 5 eggs, I still have room for like Dig on a Pokemon, right? On a catching mon, right? So while I'm shunting everything like that. So the math is, right? 500k divided by 750, right? You'd have to use 666 escape ropes in your lifetime to ever meet at cost, just to break even on the value of Dig Ocarina. Now, if you want to buy Dig Ocarina as a collector item, or just to have all ocarinas, or to feel completionist, that is Giga-Chad and base, and I respect the hell out of it. But don't buy Dig Ocarina as some like efficient, like hyper, like it's just not. Like, it's just, from my understanding, in my opinion, like, I don't see it how it's, if you have to use so many escape ropes, make so many mistakes. Like, once again, I've been playing the game for 8,000 hours. I'm not trying to appeal to authority, but it's relevant here, right? Like, I can confidently say I have not used that many escape ropes. Like, I've played for a very, very long time. I've probably used maybe 100 escape ropes, maybe 1 to 200 in my life. it's just, you'll never reach that amount. Like, it's so rare you're ever gonna actually outweigh it with Ocarina. To clarify on the Dig Ocarina thing, if going to your bag to click Dig Ocarina makes you happy, or anything I say in the game, like, then just do that. That's worth it, right? I think people like get really emotionally tied up and confused. If I say something isn't efficient, that doesn't mean it's not good to do, or like bad, or like wrong, right? You always should choose your own enjoyment. Like, efficiency is just like one piece of the puzzle. Like, let's say there's like 5 things that factor into like how you should make a decision. Efficiency is only one of them, 1 out of the 5, right? There's always other things to factor in. So just don't hear me say like, oh, this thing is inefficient, and take, okay, therefore it's bad or wrong, right? It's just one of the pieces of the puzzle, and I want you to make your own decision. And I try to provide numbers and information and yada yada. I don't want anybody to ever feel like ashamed of playing their game the way they want to. I hope that's really, 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 really obvious, and I try to nail that over and over again. But for some people, they do feel attacked, and I want to make that really, really, really clear. Wait, this is actually the food take of the day. So, dude, my wife, I'm very proud of the fact I have converted my wife, okay? And what I've converted her into is an Arby's fan. I fucking love Arby's. I think Arby's is underrated. I think it's based. It's super good. Didn't they just make that new, like, cheesesteak at Arby's? I think the, like, bacon ranch Arby's cheesesteak. I actually love Arby's. Arby's is the fries. Arby's is so based. Holy shit. So underrated. Check it out. I love Arby's. We have the meats, true and real. I'm a big Arby's fan. I'm just saying. People ask all the time, how the fuck is Arby's still open? Who is buying Arby's? Me. I'm him, okay? I am buying Arby's. I love Arby's. Do we have a live shiny? I think Lifehunter just got one. Is he here? Oh, let's see. Okay, and it's a triagonal. The actual gamer. Lifehunter, I feel like is one of the best shunners in PokeMMO. Like, top 10, top 20. Super fucking good. Like, super consistent. Catching it with a Volcarona. That's so sick. Look at this. Shiny Cryogonal. That's also a beautiful shiny. Has the uwu sprite with the eyes. Very fucking sick. Congrats, Life. Alrighty, fellas, here it is. 10,000 encounters. Does the milestone actually mean anything in terms of my RNG? No, not at all. But it's always fun to track, man. Encounter counter is honestly what makes a lot of shiny hunting fun to me in Pokemon, in my opinion. That small little increments of progress. Where can you see if Pokemon are moved into new PvP groups? On the forums, every single month, there is a tier list change, and they always go over it there. Speaking of, I don't know if I've checked this month for August. Let's go double check it. Okay, now I see why I didn't really hear anything about this or talk about this yet. There's only one PvP change at the beginning of August, and it was Magneton got moved down to NU from UU just based on usage, and that's it. Everything else like seems pretty decent, seems pretty healthy for the most part. It seems like it was literally just, okay, here's this change, you guys can discuss it. No discussion, the change is now in game. Like that's actually, I don't know if I've ever seen a post like this. Usually it's like pages and pages of debate and discussion. I've never seen, oh yeah, this goes down, no discussion, changes in game. Keck W. That's very funny. This is going to be 12,000 encounters here. It's also going to be the end of the stream. Another 6-hour stream in the books. Shiny Wars has been one for PokeMMO history. It's been super fun, super enjoyable, and just a really crazy, cool experience. One of a kind experience that we don't always see in PokeMMO. So thank you guys for enjoying it and experiencing it with me. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Dislike if you didn't. That's totally okay. Subscribe to the channel for daily PokeMMO videos. Follow me on Twitch Monday through Friday for streams, usually at around 12 p.m., but whenever possible, honestly, during Shiny Wars. Discord is down below. We're getting an essay typed about Lando T. I'm excited. Save it for the podcast, Spidget. I'm excited. What else? If you want to go above and beyond and support the channel, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, and Twitch subs is super appreciated. Never needed, but if you've enjoyed enough hours of the content and can afford it, it is helpful. But anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great day. I will see you guys later, and just have fun playing PokeMMO. That is the #1 thing. And have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Peace, Reno. Hey, thanks so much for watching until the very end of the video. That really means the world to me, and it means even more worlds to me if you go above and beyond and support my content financially like all of these lovely people have done. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.